Okay. Okay, so sorry about the delay, just some minutes. Okay, so welcome to Chanty's Kitchen First Live. So I am here for you to see that I am here despite being late. So, Chanty's Kitchen. You're currently looking at Uchanta of Chanty's Kitchen. And of course, this is my first live, the first time I am showing my face here. And today we are going to be talking about the inspiration behind my food blogging and of course discuss 5 of my favorite spices. I have some of them here, so I'm sure you would like to see them. Okay, so what's the inspiration behind? I'm trying to, get myself, because I'm just starting. That's my first time of showing myself here. So what's the inspiration behind Chanty's Kitchen, and what exactly is Chanty's Kitchen? What is it known for? If you're joining me for the first time, if you're a first-time viewer, well, Chanty's Kitchen with Chanta. I am a food lover, a home cook, and of course a blogger who believes in changing, turning everyday meal into something magical, something, you know something, but when you experience it in form of food, you begin to ask yourself, is this? Can it really be turned to this? So that's my mission. If you've been following this channel, if you're a regular viewer, you will know that I always share hacks. Why? Because I know life can be quite complex. Life can be very, 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 tiresome sometimes. But you need easy ways to get out of that tiresome angle of life. So if you checked some time ago, I shared something like how to remove, stains from iron. Yes, I did. And how to reseal something like a plastic bag just at home. Very easy. So that's what my channel is all about. Yeah, I can see some people have joined, and I'm happy because it's the first time I'm doing this. So it is very, very important to me that you are here. So if you're here, I would like you to, tell me where you are viewing me from. Drop a comment, say something, and I hope you're having a great day, because you're going to have a great time with me here, and I don't want to take your time. So let's go into the inspiration behind Chanty's Kitchen. Yes, 4. Let's start with the first. The first one, genetics. When I say genetics, of course, because it's my line, I might tend to use that term. Gene. That's what I mean. My granny, God rest her soul, maternal grandma, she was a cook. In fact, she cooked for an institution for a very long time. She retired and was even earning pension as a cook. So that's my first inspiration. It is genetic, yes. And so back to myself. Since it is in the gene, I'm going to also share the first time I cooked. I was 7 years old. And you cannot guess what I made, except if you already know the story. Beans. I prepared beans, and the oil was floating on top of the beans. And my other sister kept saying it is fine, but I know it was not, even at 7 years old. But I think you should give kudos to me for, cooking at that age. So the first inspiration has been shared, my grandma being a cook. And then the second one, my friend Sheila. I don't know if she's here. If she's here on live with me, I don't know if she's here. But if she's here, I would like her to, maybe drop a comment or say something that would make me know that she is here. Yes, Sheila. Sheila is my one of my greatest inspiration. When we're in school, I cook a lot. Like I said, I cook a lot, even with small ingredients, small, how school life can be. School life can be very, very, very tough with little things to manage. But whenever I make food, whenever I cook, people who will come to taste it will say, oh wow, this food is exceptional. This food is exceptional. And so the inspiration began. And they'll be like, what do you plan to do with this talent? Because you can't waste it. If you know how to cook, you can't waste it. And then one of those days, Sheila said to me, I think we need to first of all get a name, because you're going to have something big. You're going to have a restaurant. You're going to have something big. And I said, what will the name be? And she said, Chanty. Chanties. I said, oh, Chanties from Ochanta. Oh wow, that was like music to my soul. And I said, well, I'm going to take the name. So I remember sometime back she shared it. Said, you remember? I said, of course, Sheila. I remember. So Sheila, wherever you are, I know you might be watching right now. Sheila is in Canada right now. So thank you for that inspiration. Now let's go to inspiration number 3. My ex-student, AGK. Remember when Instagram, you can actually post and just pictures, you can post just pictures and then put up a write-up. So then I'll just take pictures, because I love taking pictures. People who know me, they know that I love pictures. So I will take food pictures and post them. And so this student of mine then was still a student, said one day, ma'am, you can just start food blogging. You love sharing food. You can start something like that, something beautiful, and people will want to listen. People will like to see what you can do. And then it was just pictures. And then when we now migrated to us having reels, videos, of course, I had to, key into what's happening in the world of food blogging. So that's how the video, we moved to that. Okay, we moved into making videos, and that's that. So you have my grandma, first inspiration, you have Sheila, second, you have AGK, my ex-student, and then of course the last inspiration, and the most important actually, my husband would always say, do it, do it, do it, do it. Once he said, do it, do it. So that preaching is exactly what got us here. So if you're watching me right now, I've shared some recipes. In fact, I shared a recipe today, where I made moi moi from sweet potatoes. Can you beat that? Moi moi from sweet potatoes. It means there's nothing impossible. Just like I said, I love healthy cooking. Where you can transform anything. In fact, like I said, if you're a regular viewer of my videos, you will actually agree with me that everything I make, even in my pastries, there will always be infusion of fruits, healthy fruits. Last time, I think about 3 weeks ago, I dropped mango muffins. Imagine that, infusing mangoes into your pastries. And I've made avocado ice cream, soursop ice cream, to tell you. So like I said, I love healthy cooking. So if you're watching this video, I need you to tell me your favorite recipe of mine. Which one do you that anytime you want to go back, as I'm just talking and someone at the background is telling me, oh, that you egusi soup. Well, for some it's that soursop ice cream. For some it is the time I made abacha, abacha in a very simple way. I have a way with food. Okay, so I'm going right away to now discuss. Aside chatting with you, telling you why I started food blogging, I'm going to also share my 5 favorite spices. No matter what I'm cooking, no matter what's happening, I will always use them. But it's also dependent on what I am cooking. So, ta-da! I'm going to share them with you. And I'm sure you will appreciate them. Okay? So, let's start with the first one. This. Onions, the almighty onions. If you ask me, of course it's not in powdery form what I'm showing you, but we do have powdered onions. You cannot make any meal without this, except of course some kind of soup. But of course you're going to cook meat, so you need it. So onions is the power spice, if you ask me. I use it in almost every dish. And I'm the type who usually I don't like seeing onion in my food. I like using it, but I don't like seeing it in my food. I don't like, seeing lots of it. And if you've been a regular viewer, you will know that my chopper is always there. I love chopping it, so it makes it easier for me. When I'm using it to cook, you won't see it. So onion has sweetness, a special kind of sweetness to food. Even if you don't have money to add other ingredients, if you have enough onions, then it is a game changer. Very, very important. In fact, naturally, if you're cooking and you're going to fry, it should be the first thing to hit the oil down. Once it drops in the oil, it builds the flavor, okay? And any other thing can happen after that. So onions are very, very important. In fact, there's a marriage between onions and garlic. Garlic can be quite intense. That's why most people use it more when they are cooking meat, okay? But for me, onions is my number one. And like I said, you need to know when to chop it smaller, when to finely blend it, because you can't be eating a vegetable soup or a goosey soup, and be seeing lumps of onions. People will run away from your food. And remember, if you're marinating meat, you can use the powdered one. That would work. Okay, so number 2, I'm going to announce number 2 with a bell. I have a bell here. It can be quite noisy. I have a bell here. Number 2, straight on your screen, ginger, almighty ginger. Just as you're looking at it, ginger is fiery, fresh, and full of flavor. This giant you're looking at, look at the structure. It adds warmth and depth to food, especially if you're going to make drinks, Nigerian drinks in particular. You can't make zobo without adding ginger. It needs to ginger the drink. It's important. Zobo is very, very, needs this to stay fresh, to stay alive, to give it that zinc. There's this zinc, just the way it's answering ginger, there's this zinc test that comes from it. Yes, I can see a lot of people joining. I'm happy that you're here with me. And give me a thumbs up, drop something in the comments. Let me know that you were here. You have to leave a mark. And if you've not subscribed and you're watching me right now, please do. So quickly, I'm still talking about ginger in case you're just coming in. Like I said, it's great when you're marinating meat. Very, very, very important. Very, very important. I'm going to bring out the number 3 guy. It's not so common. Most people don't even know about it. Most people don't use it. It comes in form of a stick. Are you surprised? Yeah, in form of a stick. I have more. Yeah, going to take it closer to the camera. Can you see it? Yeah, cinnamon stick. So I'll ring the bell for it too. I don't want to ring this so loud. Okay, so cinnamon stick is number 3. My favorite, all-time favorite spice. It's not like the others. You can see clearly it's not like the others. This is a wood, right? But it is spicy, slightly woody and sweet. And let me tell you something. If you bake any pastry without adding a pinch of cinnamon, then you're missing something. Grate it, combine it with nutmeg, and you take it from 0 to 100. So cinnamon stick is my number 3. Remember I said a pinch. Don't go and overdo it. Some people, everything they do, they overdo it. Just add maybe half a teaspoon, depending on what you're doing. And it's also good in pancakes. Very good when you're making zobo again, and when you're making some rice dishes. I don't know why I keep mentioning zobo. Maybe because I just dropped, a week ago, I made this sweet zobo. Very sweet, without sugar. If you've been following me, you also notice I rarely use sugar. I would rather use fruits to make my drink tasty, right? So I made this very, very sweet zobo, and I used cinnamon stick. That's why I'm sharing this with you. So if you're going to make something like zobo, cinnamon stick is the guy you need to call upon, right? Yeah. So that's that, cinnamon stick. And remember, you can grate this to get what you want. Just grate it and you have what you want. So you can mix this with honey. Mix it with honey and lemon. If you're having challenges with your throat, you're having respiratory challenges, and you'll be free. It's quite magical. You're surprised? Don't be. The stick can work wonders. The next, but not the least, the next, I call it the Eden of food and spice. The Eden of food and spice. That is my Nigerian curry. I'm going to ring the bell to welcome this one because it is my absolute favorite. And you know what's funny about Nigerian curry? Nigerian curry is not actually curry. It's a mixture of a lot of elements, a lot of spices. So there you have it. I'm going to bring it close. You can see the color. The color alone tells you that this is the magic of the kitchen. You cannot attempt to make food like jollof rice, fried rice, even egg sauce, and then you're being careful with this. No way. You need to be very, very generous, absolutely generous with curry, Nigerian curry. Emphasis on Nigerian curry, because if you buy the other kind, it won't give you what you want. This one is the even. Before you begin to cook, before you begin to fry, I'm giving you, some tips that will help you. You need to first of all fry this in oil, very, very important. Then the flavors will be released better. It will now allow others to come in and be balanced. And remember, combining it with time. When you combine it with time, both of them, there's a marriage between time and Nigerian curry. They will give you everything you can ever imagine. In food though, not in any other thing, in food. So if you're going to make smoky jollof rice, you need this. That reminds me, I shared a tip on how to make smoky jollof rice. So if you check out some of my shorts, you're going to see it, how to make smoky, a trick, very simple on how to make smoky jollof rice. Remember I told you earlier, this is one of the things I do, sharing hacks, how to make life easier for you. Every day, even if I'm sleeping all through the day, I must drop one shot. And most of them, in fact 80% of my shots is hinged on kitchen hacks, cooking hacks, home tips. So if you check it out, you see how to make smoky jollof rice. Now back to the curry, which is my all-time favorite. Don't overdo it. If you overpour this into your food, it's going to be bitter. Don't say that I made you to overpour. Okay, so sorry about that, because this is vertical life, so I'm also receiving messages everywhere. So now let's go to the man that most of you might see but not value. Okay, so look at it. I'm bringing it close. Bay leaves. Bay leaves. Bay leaves is my last for the day. The last one I want you to see. This is dried bay leaf, right? This Mr. Man is almost magical. It's like the silent guy who does the job, and you will not know. The man in the shadow. When you say someone is a kingmaker, that's the bay leaf. You can't think of making jollof, making stew, steaming meat without this guy, bay leaf. Take it from me. If you've not been using it, go and buy it. Go and get it in your kitchen. But remember, when you're serving the food, please remove the bay leaf. I think it feels somehow when someone is eating and they are removing long dry leaves from their mouth. So bay leaf is my, hidden friend whenever I am cooking, right? And it is important when you're making rice, beans. It is also very good for meat, like I say. So in case you missed all we've said, I started with my first friend, onions. These onions can change even food that seems tasteless. It can turn it from 0 to 1,000 onions. Always blend it and put it there, especially for people like us who don't like seeing onions in their food, but they love onion. Blend it very well. And then we had this one, ugly but useful monster, ginger. Even from the name, it gingers every food. It gives it warmth and depth, right? Very, very important. Remember to know where to put it though. It is not when someone wants to do something you drop ginger. No way. Ginger is important in most drinks. The other time I shared zonko. Zonko is one special drink of mine. It's tricky. It's not cooked. You just, soak your millet overnight, allow it to ferment, but there must be enough ginger. You will love it. The videos are all here, so you can check them out after this. If you've not been watching my videos, you're missing. I am teaching you life skills for free, so you need to always come online to watch them. Like I said, if you're joining me, I would like to see your comment on the particular recipe you love the most. Now I would like to get thumbs up. It's not easy. This is my first live. I'd like to see how did I do. Did I dazzle you people a little? So remember, I've shown you onions, ginger. I'm going back to show you the third one, the woody bad guy, my cinnamon. Cinnamon used in pastries. Grate it or drop it while making your tea or your zobo, that kind of thing. And of course, Nigerians can never do without this one, Nigerian curry. I know I don't need to ask, because if you make jollof without this, or stew without this, tomato stew in particular, or fried rice without, how can you make fried rice without this? It's not possible. And then the last but not the least, this. Okay, so we are almost about to wrap up. I said I will use 15 minutes, but from what I'm seeing, we are almost into 20-something minutes. And I see some people joined quite late. So if you're joining us now, I'll just run a recap. First, I told you what my channel is about, right? About food, healthy food in particular. That's why I infuse a lot of a lot of fruits into my pastries. And I make a lot of healthy drinks. And then I share hacks to make life easy. Life is stressful enough, but if you're following me, you must learn how to make certain things very easy for yourself instead of going through the complicated way. Some people still pick beans today. Before they cook beans, it takes 2 hours. And you have been a viewer here, then you're missing. If you've been a viewer here, you should know by now that you don't pick beans. I have my grandma's secret that I shared with you. You use science, sedimentation, the law of gravity to remove stones from beans, and flotation. Remember Archimedes' principle and all that. You can remove some things too. Yes, I am a science teacher, so that's why I'm quoting on this. If you are not me, sorry. Okay, so, and having said that, I return to discuss how I began my food blogging journey. Remember, I'm recapping this for people who are just joining. I said I had 4 inspirations. My grandma, who was a cook, God rest her soul. Sheila, who is currently in Canada, I hope she's here now. And she inspired the name I'm using today for my food blogging. Chanty came from Sheila. And of course, the third one, my ex-student AGK, who said, hey, you love posting about pictures of food. Why not begin to blog? And lastly, among all of them, most importantly, the man who would always say, go ahead, that's my husband, go ahead, do whatever you want, do this, do that, and that's that. So I hope you had a nice time. I'm about to wrap up. I would like you, to send the message and tell me how you felt about this life. And also tell me what recipe you think I should think about. I have lots of recipe already done, which I'll be dropping. But maybe the ones you might suggest could, make me to change. There's something in season now that is corn. I'm beginning to think, there's something I want to do with corn that would surprise you, and I might be dropping it next week Friday. Remember, I drop my recipes every Friday, full form videos, already edited for you. So I would want you to always tune in. Remember, every Friday, check out. If you're not, I have this broadcast channel where I drop whenever I make videos. So if you're not there, you should check out some of my socials, like Instagram, like TikTok, like Facebook sometimes, and then you would see what I made for that week. So thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe and give this live thumbs up. I need to see your thumbs up. I need to see it in this live. And share Chanty's Kitchen with someone. Man, they said if they give you, someone gives you a gift that is beautiful, you need to share it with other people. They need to experience life from your own eyes, what you have been experiencing. So, thank you for coming to my live. I hope we'll get to do this next time, sometime. Maybe next week, maybe in 2 weeks' time. But I will tell you, I'm going to make it regular because I was forced out of my shell. Naturally, I don't like being there. You know, I like doing things on the ground, not showing myself, you know, but well, we live in a world where people love to see the voice behind it. So this is the voice. This is Uchanta of Chanty's Kitchen. Goodbye, and I love you for always coming in, for always tuning in, for always staying with me. If you've been my regular viewer, I appreciate everything you do for me, for always watching my videos. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to stand up to switch that off. So if you see me standing, also what is she coming to do?